And I don't want to lose your love tonight. That's actually a very high song.
It's really high. I've been listening to it like on repeat.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really digging it. But that's like the only outliner song that I really cared for in my...
What do you mean outlier? Like
the band.
Oh, that's right. That's what their name. Yeah.
Outfield.
The Outfield. Yeah.
Outfield.
Well, that's the kind of like their. I mean, they kind of had another big hits, but like that was like their big hit.
Yeah.
They're like almost. They're like a 2-hit wonder.
Where are they from?
Europe.
They're
Great Britain.
Is he British?
Oh, very British. Look at his teeth.
Last week talking shit about the French. This week talking shit about...
I don't want to lose your love tonight.
He also has a very...
It's like Tom York, dude.
very... cadence?
Yeah.
Cadence to his voice.
Well, there's a lot of reverb put onto his voice, too.
I told this person at 12th about the Ed and
Eddie thing.
And he was like, dude, why did you do that to me? It's like, because I think it's fucking hilarious.
I sent that to you like so long ago.
Yeah.
It's just...
But it's like...
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Just...
For all of you listeners, that guy sounds exactly like Ed from Ed, and Eddie.
I mean, I'll probably find that, like, if I can find that a GIF of it, I'm gonna put it on the video. So maybe you can go watch it on YouTube. Watch us.
And they're just like,
yeah.
Okay, is that our cold open?
I guess so.
Did you have anything specific you wanted to talk about?
I don't remember. I don't want to.
Yeah, I guess.
We can just do it.
Wait.
Wait.
I got the Walking Dead crossover thing for Dying Light 2.
Oh, cool.
You get like Lucille and shit, and it's...
Oh, that's dope.
What?
God damn.
God, and you get a Michonne sword. It's pretty...
Oh, that's dope.
It's sick. But yeah. That's...
Actually, a machete in the zombie apocalypse would actually kind of be like I would want that as my melee weapon of choice.
I like the bat. I like the way it feels. Does it make me a total psycho?
No. I like to feel the crack.
Whack.
All right, let's do this.
All right, this is Tommy.
This is Jacob. It's Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
All right, everybody. Tell them what we're doing. A little higher. We're going to be reading The Great Gatsby to you.
Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, and one fine morning, so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
I was kidding, but apparently you were serious. Is it?
Yeah.
Straight up, it's like the school edition.
I stole it from a high school.
That would be why.
It says property was Westvalley High School in like one of the first pages.
Oh, yeah. I like this idea of like the librarians. Like, I knew it!
Hey, everybody, how we all doing? Yeah, if you didn't get from me, I don't know how well I held up the book. Yeah, we might. Yeah, it says The Great Gatsby, and that's what we're doing today. Finished doing off our pair of stylized period dramas.
It says it like 6 times.
What?
The high school.
Oh yeah, no, it's everywhere.
It's here. Yeah, but we're doing the 2013 version.
Yes, 2013 version because it's a stylized version. I found out in research that there is a 2000 version where Paul Rudd plays Nick Carraway, and I got very interested.
What?
Yeah, it's like A&E. Well, don't. We can do that later. I know, but doesn't that piques your interest though, right?
Yeah, who plays Gatsby?
Some dude, just some handsome dude.
Some handsome dude. Fallon was drooling over Leo in this.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, his charisma is. What's crazy is like I watching his. We'll get into that. Actually, we'll get into that later. Yeah. So 2013's The Great Gatsby. It came out in May. First premiered May 1st, 2013, and then the 10th in the United States, and then the 30th in Australia.
It's so interesting how that works.
What do you mean?
The scattering that happens when films get released in certain places at different times.
I think it's reviews don't get oversaturated. Oh, it's a siren. I was like, what is that noise?
It's crazy how loud that is.
Yeah.
Like, considering how far away we are.
Well, no, because it sounded like the horn of your phone of someone calling you at first, and I was like, what the fuck? Anywho,
synopsis.
Yes, give us a synopsis.
It was while we were setting up with something to say. A man throws wild parties in an attempt to woo a long-lost fiancée before her 25th birthday.
It's really weird, actually, how simple kind of the story is-ish. Like, you can reduce it. You can reduce it very, very easily, but it is, then again, very elaborate.
Well, I mean, like I've been doing recently, since, kind of get your vibe. What did you like it?
I really enjoyed this movie.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I did not expect it to love it, because I love the book. Because I also just like Fitzgerald's his style of writing. I just always really liked. But like you're saying, at the end of the day, it's a really simple concept. And then,
well, he's kind of for like half of his like novels and books, he's writing about the same thing of just like of the frivolous nature of people in the 1920s.
Yeah, like
it's like he hated his time period.
Yeah, like the damned and the beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Not The Last Tycoon. What was his first one?
Do I have his thing open? I think I do.
I think I got it too.
The first one is The Side of Paradise.
This Side of Paradise. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay, wait, sorry. Oh yeah, I was going into it with the idea of the book that I read in high school, and then the OG movie.
That's not the OG movie. Yeah, the
Robert
Redford movie.
The Robert Redford that they show you in high school.
Yeah.
And I was going into it with this like, God, I don't want to watch this fucking thing. And then I was like 30 minutes in, I was like, this is cool. And I was like, yeah, this is actually really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it.
So really quick for 2013 as well, what did you have?
Only 23.
Mine went down from 31 to 26.
I've noticed in this time period, though, I wasn't seeing a lot of movies, and I don't know why.
For me...
Is this when we lived together?
It was around that time period. So you got to think between 2011 and 2015 is when I was going to Cornish. So that's when you and I became friends, was in that time period.
Was I just working a lot and not spending money on going to the movies?
But yeah, well, also you were spending money on alcohol and rent, pretty much.
And a dramatic spiral into madness.
But yeah, no, like between
cute
like
time period.
And the like 2010s moving forward, just a huge drop off. But also, I mean, you got to think about like during that time period, we were probably also like, oh, I haven't watched this movie from 2005 that I've been meaning to watch. So like we're catching up still too.
So yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're catching up now, kind of thing. Yeah, I only had 23. Also, but again, too, with when I was reading the list, there wasn't a lot I was interested in seeing.
That as well,
because like the top 5 were Hunger Games, Catching Fire, whatever that one is.
That's the second one.
Iron Man 3, which was kind of a flop for Iron Man.
Yeah.
Frozen, which I was not.
Frozen's wonderful.
I've tried to watch it, and it just doesn't do anything for me. Despicable Me 2 and Man of Steel, which I still have not seen.
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
it's actually, it was a weird, it was a weird era for like sequels, because like Star Trek Into the Darkness also didn't do very well.
Well, okay.
Thor: Dark World.
And also you got to think like we're still with a decade, because this is a decade old. Like in the last like decade-ish, Hollywood hasn't really put out anything super original. And what has come out as original has people have just digested really fast, because there is a hunger, like it's a common complaint through a lot of people in the industry, or even just listening to comedians that like to ingest media. They're like, nothing interesting has really come out in the last decade or so. This is one of the few, in my opinion, because Baz Luhrmann is just like, he has a really good mind of like making something pop.
Well, I was gonna say, it's like words. No one else should have directed this.
Yeah.
Because then you just would have had a reface of the
Robert Redford one. Which is probably what the A&E one is with Paul Rudd. Is probably just kind of a reface of that.
Yeah.
Also, well, yeah. Anyway. That one also did have like a really like strikingly good cast as well for like Daisy and people.
Oh, for that version, yeah.
But yeah, so like since we just brought him up, this was written, adapted
from F. Scott Fitzgerald's 1925 novel by the same name.
Yeah, Baz Luhrmann directed this, adapted it, and also his kind of co-writer Craig Pearce, who has co-written every movie with Baz Luhrmann except for Australia.
And I did find out from doing the research that Baz did Elvis, which now I'm going to watch Elvis because I'm curious.
You didn't know that? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I was really uninterested in it. I don't really care for the biopic.
That's fair.
It's like, because it's like, it's always this like kind of glorification thing as opposed to like a documentary where they're going to be like, yeah, I mean, they were known for this, but they also did this, like.
But I mean, Baz Luhrmann will probably actually want to bring up that stuff, and it'll be interesting to see the way that he stylizes it in his like fast-paced, quick, kind of manic, like.
Well, I don't know. Do they bring up the Elvis stealing music thing, like stuff?
I haven't seen it.
Oh no, I'm just.
But yeah, so Baz Luhrmann, if you're not familiar, like we just said, he did just recently have Elvis come out. But he also did Moulin Rouge, which is probably his most popular.
I love that movie.
Love hate?
Yeah,
that's fair.
Love hate that movie.
It's definitely it's been overdone.
It's like Nightmare Before Christmas for me. I've watched it too many times because you know who was like their favorite too. But I've seen it's.
And then he also did Romeo and Juliet, and that's part of his like Red Velvet trilogy.
Oh.
With Strictly Ballroom, the Red Curtain trilogy, which is Strictly Ballroom, his first movie that he filmed in Australia, and then Romeo plus Juliet and Moulin Rouge.
Romeo and Juliet's really good still.
It's amazing.
That's aged pretty well.
People that try to give that flack, just I don't know. It really frustrates me because he really took Shakespeare's text and made it feel modern.
Yeah, but I think that's like and even with this too. It's like I feel like it's a purist mentality.
Yeah,
they don't want to tweak it too much, but like the whole like turning the Capulets and Montagues into actual like a gang and like kind of like
Yeah, but that's what they would have been.
But like then the swords are the guns.
Yeah, no, hand me my long sword. He's reaching for a shotgun, and it says long sword underneath it.
Yeah, like it's like that's a little like tongue in cheek, but it's like.
But that soundtrack is fucking Radiohead, and that's used perfect for it.
All of the music, like even Moulin Rouge, is like is great. Musical.
The music in this,
and then that's another thing. That's why he cares about Elvis, because I'm like, it's about a musician,
so they're going to be using
soundtrack's probably
his
killer.
Music, yeah. Like also Jay-Z was an executive producer on this, so there's actually a good amount of like Jay-Z songs that have been like infused into this world, which they use in a really awesome, cool way. Like I really appreciate it, especially like that bridge scene and it's going H to the Izzo, E to the Izzo. Yeah, I was like, dude, fuck, I haven't heard this song in forever.
This movie's just visually
my roommate was walking out during that scene. He's like, I didn't know that song came out in 1905.
It was 1911. Rufo. I think it was 1911. Right?
When what came out?
I think the movie is the story is 1911.
It's post Great War. So it's set in like 1920s.
I thought it was like 1911.
No.
Oh, I thought I saw that number come up somewhere.
I think that may have been maybe like a flashback.
Oh, maybe yeah. Okay, 1920s.
But anyway, okay. So Baz Luhrmann, Craig Pearce. Did you do any other research with Craig Pearce?
No, I mean, because it looked like they're just like a writing duo.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess we can get into who's starring in this.
Because do a quick little glance of Wiki. I don't really like to use it as like the only source, but even then, it doesn't really mention.
Yeah, I mean, he's also an actor, like Australian actor and whatnot. But he's kind of like got more of his stuff with being writers with Baz Luhrmann. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, F. Scott Fitzgerald is one of the most famous American authors. A lot of his stuff's been turned into like movies or media and whatnot.
I didn't know Benjamin Button was...
Oh, you didn't know that was one of his short stories?
I didn't know that.
Oh. I have the complete works of short stories of F. Scott Fitzgerald.
I would like to borrow that as well, please. What do we do now?
That's it, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, we're talking about the starring.
Yeah, starring.
Okay. Pretty great cast for this. So like we said, Leonardo DiCaprio plays our Gatsby.
I think this movie was perfectly cast.
Yeah.
It blows my mind how well each person fits the role that they're in.
I forgot how goddamn annoying the old sport thing is, though.
Ah, yes, old sport.
Everybody's. It's fucking.
It's almost the end of every fucking. Could you? I feel
it's
like
Vince Vaughn and Swingers.
Yeah, it's like I feel
Let's
like
go make some money, baby. Let's go make some money. Old sport. Like shut up.
Like, I can imagine Leonardo DiCaprio at some point to be like, "Can we just fucking cut it out, man? Like I'm getting tired of saying old sport."
Everyone in this movie also has
old sport,
crazy blue eyes too. Which
yeah,
was
I know.
kind of weird.
All right, so
but yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Let's start off with our narrator, who is technically kind of like who is more or less or should be like the main character in the book. He is more the main character because you're hearing the story through his perception retelling of it, which feels very because of how biased he is about his own feelings and understanding his own feelings. It does feel like a very non-biased like perspective on it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So Nick Carraway is played by Tobey Maguire. He's been in a lot of like some of my favorite movies.
Brothers, Pleasantville,
Spider-Man.
Pleasantville would be fun to do.
It would be.
That's a cool movie.
That's a lot of thematic.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack in there.
That might be a weird one to do with Hairspray, because they both deal with racial injustice in their own right.
Think you could think of a better one.
You just don't want to do a musical.
No, I actually love Hairspray.
Oh, really?
I do.
Oh. Okay.
I think it's very cute.
That's yeah.
And John Travolta and Christopher Walken
are fantastic.
I think it's just a very cute movie.
Fair. Okay. Well, man.
And it's very poppy and animated, and I'm weird. Okay. I'm inconsistent.
Tommy actually likes musicals.
I don't. That's what's
Tommy
weird.
likes musicals. No. Okay. So yeah, Tobey Maguire, who's our narrator and more or less like lead through this, but the story is about James Gatz. Jimmy J. James. Actually, in the book, depending like because his father comes at the end of the book. Mm-hmm. But Jay Gatsby, real name is James Gatz. That's his real name. Played by Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know why I stuttered on his name. Again, had worked with Baz Luhrmann in Romeo plus Juliet as a wonderful Romeo.
I also was just looking at his list, and he's been in some fucking dope movies.
He's also been in some of my favorite movies as well.
Yeah, he's been in some really just...
The Departed.
Gangs of New York.
Mm-hmm. Fucking...
Inception.
Yeah.
Aviator.
Django Unchained.
Oh my God.
He's a goddamn hero.
Remember when I quoted him and I was like, maybe I shouldn't quote that character. What is it? You piqued my curiosity. Now you have my interest.
Yeah, that's right.
That. And he's talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Also in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, I just said that.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah. You said worked with Baz Luhrmann. Listen to me. You never listens to me anymore.
Bud. Who do you want to do next, Daisy?
Yes, yeah.
Carey Mulligan, who plays Daisy, who is Gatsby's long lost lover that I mentioned. Nick's cousin.
Yes.
Which is I totally thought it was Heath Ledger's baby mama. What's her name again?
Michelle Williams.
For a brief moment.
No, because they look fucking so much alike.
Especially with her short blonde hair. Yeah. I was like, I really thought it was her.
Yeah, Carey Mulligan is British. And so recently she's in a movie, Promising Young Woman, which is that's a mindfuck of a movie.
She's in Brothers with Tobey Maguire.
She has a small role.
I didn't really recognize. I hadn't really
because that movie it's more Natalie Portman, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Tobey Maguire through that movie.
And I'm assuming she's Johnny Depp's girlfriend or whatever in Public Enemies. I haven't
seen Public Enemies. I'm not sure.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, you'd like that one.
She plays Michael Fassbender's sister in Shame.
You never saw Shame.
That's crazy. It's rated NC-17 because there's a lot of nudity, and it deals with Michael Fassbender plays a sex addict.
Oh yeah. Okay. Never seen Drive or Brothers or anything, so I don't. Really...
You haven't seen Brothers? Mm-mm. Oh, you would like Brothers.
It looks too stressful.
It is. It's very stressful. Tobey Maguire is amazing.
I know, just the clips alone, and it gives me anxiety. Which is weird though, because then I watched that Hugh Jackman movie because it's the same kind of vibe. He's like really intense in it.
Which movie? Hugh Jackman?
His daughter.
Logan.
His daughter goes missing. And the cops can't find her, so he like goes on this.
He has a particular set of skills.
Yeah. It's like it's Taken, but it's a drama. You know?
Okay.
It's got your guy in it, the Riddler.
Paul Dano?
Yeah, Paul Dano's in it.
Well, that was Carey Mulligan.
Then Tom?
Yes.
Joel Edgerton plays Tom, Daisy's husband.
Who I forgot how big of a role he has in the story.
Tom is.
And Joel Edgerton, I think.
Why do I know him? I was looking at his shot and we talked about him.
He's Owen Lars.
Yeah, no, but we talked about. I remember pulling up his thing, that black and white photo of him on IMDb, but I can't remember why we were talking about him.
I can't remember. He's also in It Comes at Night.
Yeah, because I looked at his things and I was like, we didn't review anything with him.
He looks like somebody else, and I can't remember that off the top of my head.
Oh, mate, is that what I'm doing?
I think we may have just talked about him when we were talking about Star Wars. Possibly. Like The Mandalorian or anything. Or not, we wouldn't talk about him in The Mandalorian, maybe.
Because he's in... Oh, he's the uncle, right?
Yeah, the Luke's...
Also intense blue eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he is amazing in this movie.
He's such a douche.
Because, like, I remember in the book, Tom Buchanan just being... just boring and just seemed just like a regular, just some asshole. Yeah. That was just married to Daisy, and he is, a racist asshole in this movie. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Oh no, they actually took out a lot of the racism and anti-Semitism that's in the book. Mainly from Tom Buchanan.
They should have just leaned the fuck into it.
No, Joel Edgerton made Tom Buchanan an actual interesting character to watch.
Oh, know what it might be?
Huh?
We were when we watched Green Knight.
Oh yeah,
that's probably why.
No, we didn't talk about it.
No, but you and I.
I see. Yeah,
that's why I probably brought him.
He plays the king,
Lord.
the Lord.
God, we need to rewatch that again. I'm sober. That was not a good movie to watch after drinking.
Or while drinking, but even still, it was kind of a jerk off of a movie. I felt like it was implying on itself too much. And then just really quick, just the other people. Just we don't need to go into other movies that they've been in. Elizabeth Debicki plays Jordan, which is the friend of Daisy, and then
we watched this, and then we watched Guardians.
Oh, Guardians. Oh yeah, and she's the gold woman.
Yeah, and I was like, I did not put that together in Great Gatsby.
The eyes.
Yeah.
She would also be a great Samus.
Gosh, she's gorgeous.
She would be a great Samus Aran.
She's got beautiful structure.
Isla Fisher, who plays Myrtle, who is Tom's mistress, and Jason Clarke, who is Wilson. What's his first name?
George
Wilson, who is Myrtle's actual husband, and the guy that Tom Buchanan is like fucking over with like car stuff. It sounds like, but
also in Public Enemies as a cop.
I don't.
There's just this weird kind of like.
I was trying to remember what the fuck I recognized him from, and it was Pet Sematary. He's the dad in the remake.
I recognize him from Death Race.
I haven't seen that.
I don't remember Pet Sematary, the remake, right?
Yeah, with John Lithgow.
Yeah. Oh, it is John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good casting. And apparently he's an Oppenheimer. Excuse me.
Yeah. Which I'm really excited to see that. But yeah, so it's got a really great cast, and everybody is cast really damn well. Even just like some of the minor characters, like Baz Luhrmann is just he's good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And like the casting process for this was quite extensive. Like originally, I can't remember everything that I read, but they're originally like Leo was the first one cast, and then there was someone else besides Tobey Maguire for Nick Carey.
Tom was talked about was Ben Affleck, Bradley Cooper, Luke Evans.
Someone had it, but then Ben Affleck was, but like then
Bradley Cooper would have been good.
Bradley Cooper would have been good. Ben Affleck, he was filming Argo, so there was filming complications. Where are we at? Mulligan was like a last minute for, because originally it was gonna be ScarJo, which I'm so glad it wasn't Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right to me.
No, like Carey Mulligan just really embodied this idea of Daisy, and like it's also kind of interesting to like watching this. There's so many like little things that this is definitely Baz Luhrmann's interpretation of F. Scott's like text and whatnot, but it feels like some of the most accurate.
Well, and it's also everyone casted really fits into that
exactly
1920s
mold.
Yeah, American elite, rich people thing.
Okay, before we get, we're gonna start getting into actually doing that. Let's hear your reviews that you dug up, and so then we have like stuff to like bounce off of as well.
Okay.
For ratings, this surprisingly divisive ratings. On IMDb it's got a 7.2. But then like it's Rotten Tomato. Its tomato meter is 48% from critics, which I was like, oh, okay. And then 67 audience score. So
yeah, it has a 55 meta score.
Well, that's so strange.
Yeah. Well, so like there are 19 positive, 23 mixed, and then 3 negative.
Yeah.
So that's what brings it to that. But for the positive, we have Rick Groen at the Globe and Mail. It is a terrific adaptation that succeeds not only as a work of cinema, but also wonderfully as proof of the novel's greatness.
Yeah.
In short, the picture rebukes the revisionists even while entertaining them.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I am really curious, because this is a pretty short read, too. It's not very long.
It's dense, though.
I'm really curious to read this again after watching the movie.
I mean, there's like, you have to like reread a sentence like every couple of sentences because of like how F. Scott's writing is. Like it's almost cryptic. It's just so, the language that he uses is just very unique. The way that he writes is very, very unique.
Didn't Hunter S. Thompson rewrite this book over and over again to learn how to write?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Like a crazy person.
A fucking crazy person. I'm obsessed with him, though. Like, I find him fascinating.
Yeah, he's a fascinating human being.
He's fucking crazy. Crazy guy. For mix, 60 out of 100 with Jane Crowther at film. Gatsby fans will be unoffended yet untransported. But soundtracks will sell. DiCaprio will be on bedroom walls again. And new readers may discover the book, which is no bad thing.
Okay. That was fun. Just fun.
Yeah,
fun.
it's like, it was fine. And obviously, with the negative, I picked the one that made me laugh the hardest. 25 out of 100. Rex Reed at Observer. I love the publicity quotes by Baz Luhrmann stating that his intention was to make an epic romantic vision that is enormous. Also, overwrought, asinine, exaggerated, and boring. But in the end, about as romantic as a pet rock.
Damn.
It's always the negative ones that are just like the funniest, man.
Well, yeah, because they're like, oh, if I'm gonna, it can't just be like, I didn't like it.
Yeah, you have to get kind of creative with it. Yeah, because it's still to this day the Elvis thing from 3,000 Miles to Graceland. It just lives in my rent head, like
lives in your head rent free.
Yeah, free now. It just makes whenever I'm bad day, just think about that review and I chuckle.
So that first, one of the things that's really an awesome highlight for this movie is how Luhrmann, he takes a lot of the imagery that Fitzgerald has in the book, and he makes it pop. And so like these thematic things like the green light at the end of the dock, the eyes, the spectacles, like that are floating in between like the city and where they're at in East and West and whatnot. And the yellow car is just so vibrantly yellow, and I was just really impressed with how Luhrmann took the story and made it kind of his own, but kept so true to everything that F. Scott was doing. I read somewhere that it was like F. Scott's granddaughter quoted saying that that F. Scott Fitzgerald would very much approve of this version.
I like that you keep calling him F. Scott like you're like homies.
Cool. Is that all you got out of what I just said? Awesome.
I guess I'm just like, well, I don't. I'm like, well, I don't. Yeah, that's how I know about the first time.
As he turns into a sin. Hold on a second. I think I have in here. Where is it? The differences between.
Ooh, thank you. I really, really would. That's well. I kind of want to read it.
Let's see. Where did I find that? I think it had to have been in here. Screenplay. All right. So, and also these aren't all of them because even just kind of like last night I was perusing through the book and I was finding other differences. But there's noted 5 key changes made in the novel's plot. 1, Nick Carraway is writing from a sanitarium, having checked himself in from sometime after the summer with Gatsby. So that's like this, like, and also this is just like Nick Carraway just like writing having a reflection. So Baz Luhrmann found like, well, what if there's a reason why he's doing this? And then also he makes it as if Nick Carraway is writing the story about Gatsby. Okay. The book is just Nick Carraway, just blah, blah, blah.
I'm not talking to the mic.
He flirts with Jordan Baker, but unlike what happens in the novel, he's too smitten with Gatsby to notice her. So that's a big thing about that they keep talking about with Gatsby in the novels, just like how people just gravitate towards him. And like, they're just like, it doesn't matter who else is in the room. It could be your wife or whatever lover. You're just drawn to Gatsby. Gatsby himself makes a grand entrance, whereas in the novel, some time passes as they talk before Carraway realizes who he is. So, which I feel like they kind of did that in the movie. There wasn't really a grand entrance. It was more like a grand filmed, like we were going into Nick Carraway's perspective, like, and this is fucking Gatsby.
Well, it was cool because it's like how they did it too with like, you just keep seeing his ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Throughout the party. So you're like, oh, he's around. You know, like he's, you know, you see him like pick up the tray. And the only thing I thought was stupid though was that whole like, no one knows like really who Gatsby is, yada, yada, yada. But then in a couple of shots of the house, there's photos of Leo, like multiple photos. So it's like, we really couldn't fucking figure that out.
That's also goes just like how little these people are really paying attention or caring about they're more. It's more about the booze and the dancing.
Well, and it's also it's the mysterious romance of what Gatsby is.
Yes,
he's the murderer. He's the spy.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
It's this romanticized idea of a person as opposed to what he really is.
Exactly. There was something else.
He's just a man in love with your daughter. Catch me if you can.
That's right.
That's what it says to Sheen.
And once the last one is, and I already kind of brought this up, is some of the racism and anti-Semitism has been toned down or removed. Oh, and finally, in the movie, Gatsby dies thinking his pursuit of Daisy was successful.
I would argue that he did in this.
No, I'm saying in the movie, he dies thinking his...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How's it in the book? I can't remember.
It's kind of left more
aloof,
open
right?
And aloof, yeah, because
that's what I remember.
Like, you don't because you don't actually read, or it's not described how he's killed. It's just Nick Carraway running there, and he's describing. It's like, and it was the 4 of us, the driver, his waiter, blah, 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 and me, who turned the corner and we saw the pool of blood, or saw in the pool with the red circle and whatnot, and Gatsby floating there pretty much. And you're just like, oh, and then, yeah, it's pretty much the way that it's described is, yeah, you don't see it.
Okay. I'm really looking forward to reading this again. I'm curious. I know it was right, by the way. Best original score.
Yes, best original score, and I think best...
It won a lot.
Yeah. It won only like 2 Academy Award. Are you talking about Academies or?
No, Academy Award. It won Best Costume.
Yeah.
And Best Production. And then the AACTA awards.
Oh, those Australian awards.
Yeah, it won Best Music. I just remember hearing something about Best.
Also, if I remember correctly, in the book, Gatsby isn't even like introduced until like the end of chapter 2, or maybe beginning of chapter 3, or somewhere in chapter 3, when Nick finally actually talks to him.
I mean, that's kind of on par with the movie, too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Mm-hmm. So like one of the things that really pops this movie is Joel Edgerton. Obviously, Baz Luhrmann's, like visual design, but Leo actually makes Gatsby an interesting character. And
that's the thing, is because I remember in the original movie, it's not the other movie, just being like, I remember Gatsby not being very interesting to me.
Robert Redford, it's like Robert Redford, I mean, he does a wonderful job, but even just like while reading the book, like I always like imagine Gatsby, just almost more stoic but just like a pleasant person. Just, I would like to meet your cousin again, please. Can you invite her over for tea? That'd be great. Thank you. But Leo actually leans into this like nervousness and like the background of him actually coming from nothing is like, it's like a thing that haunts him constantly. Like Leo made Gatsby interesting. And that's one of the things that I was so taken from. I was like, this actually, it's what made me want to keep watching it. Was I wanted to see where Gatsby was going to go, where Leo was going to take Gatsby. And even like Tobey Maguire is just like kind of passiveness as Nick Carraway, which I felt it was so much like it's, I mean, he got a lot of ridicule in the reviews. Tobey Maguire did, as playing kind of being a one-note character. And it's like, that's kind of Nick Carraway. He's a vessel for the story of like what's happening.
He's our narrator.
Yeah.
That's what, because it's also called The Great Gatsby.
Yes.
He is relaying his interaction with this
Yeah.
incredible man. So it's like, yeah, you don't need him to be
Yeah.
super dimensional because he's not our focus point.
Yeah.
He's literally just telling us the story of what happened.
Yes.
So I don't give a shit.
What's kind of like interesting as well is like, I was thinking about like, so this story has been dissected by, literary critics and people as like, it's a reflection of what the idea of the American dream that could never actually be. And you have like Gatsby's character, who is this man who came from nothing, but then swindled his way into notoriety and fame and fortune.
I didn't really understand how he did that.
He just became a fucking black market dealer, pretty much.
Yeah.
He was a bootlegger.
Booze.
Booze, yeah. And you become, and Don Buchanan's very accurate. He's like, all that new money, it's just, and also, but he's such a fucking hypocrite. He's like, all that new money is in those that are just doing bootleg and selling booze, but here drinking half of it, motherfucker.
Isn't Buchanan, isn't that a family? Like a really,
I mean, it's a name. I don't know. I don't know.
A mask gave us one of those families.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like
maybe it has over the time, but in 1925, I don't know. That's also a big thing to remember. Is like, this story was written in 1925, almost 100 years ago.
That's weird.
And like, there's even so the final sentence leading after Gatsby's death in the book is, it ends with like, and the Holocaust was done. And I'm sitting there, I was like, whoa, that's an interesting word to use. And I was like, wait, World War II hasn't happened yet.
It's coming. Yeah,
but like, no, that means that the word Holocaust had a different meaning before, obviously. But like, now when someone says Holocaust, we think about, Germany and all that shit,
Yeah, I mean, that's just how
an entire generation of a race was eradicated.
That's usually a
traumatic
event.
But no, like, it's just like thinking about that as like the time of this book, and like F. Scott Fitzgerald writing this story in 1925. And he's writing this reflection of what he's seeing, but he's romanticizing it, but it's also like he's kind of like, expressing like how awful these like people are. Now they're just mindlessly drinking booze and just doing like just pissing life away.
Yeah.
And just, the what was it called? The Roaring 20s,
Yeah.
And then the Great Economic Collapse. The Great Depression started in 1939, right? Or was it 1929?
Fitzgerald feels judgy.
Yeah. Yeah, man, he was.
How did he die?
I can't remember, actually.
It usually just says like right on the right?
F. Scott Fitzgerald.
And he drank.
Yes. Life. And the jazz.
He was only 44
when he passed away.
Wow. He died in 1940.
Well,
wow.
Did they have anything about final year and death?
Yeah, I saw that.
Achieved sobriety over a year before his death. So, okay. Fitzgerald died of a heart attack due to occlusive coronary artery, blah, 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 at 44 years old. He died of a heart attack.
Yeah. Like you're... I was like, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try that.
Okay, so it's Baz Luhrmann. We have to let's focus more on the movie though. Now, I'm sorry, I kind of got derailed with the literary themes and stuff at Fitzgerald. It's kind of hard because and I guess that's where I was going. Is like, it's like Baz Luhrmann recreated the story in a really wonderful way and really pulled out what Gatsby's character was. And also Daisy is very much just kind of like a fucking manic pixie dream girl in this. She's like, oh, the fabric makes me so sad.
There was that scene when
everything
they're like, or dinner's ready or whatever. And he Tom snaps his fingers and then they all the servants and everything open all the doors.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that's money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the money. I mean, also, I think the biggest thing about it to take away from this too is that it's really a great watch in the sense that it is a really wonderful period piece, but modern.
Yeah.
Which he has always been able to kind of do that.
Yeah, he makes Moulin Rouge seem fresh, and modern, even though that's 1918. France.
I mean, the only one that I say I really didn't like was Australia.
I've never seen Australia.
Yeah, but because I don't even remember that one being like this. That one felt more grounded, if I remember correctly. It didn't have this pop to it.
I wonder if Craig Pearce is the guy that brings out that pop, and Baz Luhrmann just knows how to visually capture it. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's an interesting. Because was he not a writer on that, or was he?
No, that's the only one Craig Pearce didn't write with him. Yeah. But yeah,
Things got interesting.
That just happened.
I mean, the only qualms I really had about it was in general Nick's narration.
Well, I thought it was actually his narration are direct quotes from the book. Most of them.
I don't like narration in general.
That's fair.
I just find it kind of annoying.
There was a couple times where it's the narration interjected in the middle of the scene. I was like, but the scene still what?
Yeah, I mean, I think my annoyance, the first time I noticed it bothering me, and then it's like a cut on the roof of your mouth. It's like now it just bothers me. Is Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to talk about this movie.
Brad Pitt narrating it. Well, that's just the thing. To even Tobey Maguire, I'm like, your voice is starting to really irritate me. I'm like, shut up and just let me live in the world.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny too. I only noticed it in this when he they do that weird shot where he Nick goes and looks at the window and he looks at the jazz player or looks at the woman watching the what is that called? Trumpet outside on the fire escape.
Oh, yeah.
And then it does this weird thing where, he's talking about peering into the yellow windows of everyone's life and it starts showing everything. And then they impose Nick on the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that made me start noticing the narration, and I was like, now I'm annoyed.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
That's a wonderful moment, though, because that's like...
I would have been great if they didn't superimpose fucking Tobey Maguire on there.
I don't fully remember that, I guess.
Yeah, he like suddenly like it's like, you know, shows up him on the windows watching the windows, if that makes sense.
Are you talking about like him looking at himself down on the street?
It was after that.
Oh, okay.
It was just weird. That's all. I guess that's my point. It was just a weird shot.
Well, I mean,
you didn't it was weird.
I think I know why they did that though, because
weird.
Of what he's saying about him seeing everything and them looking at him and him looking back at himself.
We're going full circle. His talking is my problem. Any Winkle.
But also, I don't know. I understand that your like qualms with like narration and stuff and whatnot, and how it can be distracting. You know, it's like you know like not overused and whatnot. But since this book itself is like this reflection through Nick Carraway, and like what he's doing is like
you
writing
need to have it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying they should take it out, but it really is. It really, I don't know, narration like this really just takes me out of the moment and stuff.
I'm trying to think, how much was there? I don't know why I'm going to American Beauty because it's at the beginning and at the end, but you know, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Because Oh, I forgot about that. It's after he gets murdered, he has like an end monologue about his death.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the reflection is that you get this idea that also if you watch it again, his monologue at the beginning, it's clearly post-mortem. He is dead already, and he is reflecting on his life and the lives that were around him.
Interesting.
Yeah. Great movie. But yeah, Great Gatsby. What else do I have written down? Oh yeah, oh my god, the whole scene when all five of them are together in the hotel room and Gatsby is just like, tell him, Daisy, tell him that you don't love him anymore. It's like, bro, calm the fuck down. Like, she is being coerced so hard, and like it's kind of like it's actually all fucking manipulative by him. Like Gatsby, like it's interesting is that this like romanticized idea of Gatsby doing all this for Daisy starts to shine through as more like stalker-ish, and
it's not healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, toxic. I think toxic.
I wouldn't say it's the most healthy dynamic I've ever seen in a film.
Especially after you find out it's like they had one night of love making pretty much, and he's like, and that was it.
And he's just been like obsessed with her ever since. I was curious how they were going to deal with the whole Tom Myrtle thing.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, like in the other one, he ends up slapping her, but I just thought it was because that scene. I remember that scene in the other one being just so loud. It was like it's such a big moment, and they really it was quieted down in this one.
Was it though?
I only think that because he does that, and then it immediately goes into that narration of him looking at the windows, and
I see what you mean, but it
was like real.
That's kind of more of like with the book is because it's Nick Carraway experiencing and realizing the brutality of Tom,
yeah,
and so then he disassociates by like this is where I am, and he's reflecting upon the choices that are happening around him and the choices he's making, and thinking about, well, if this is happening in here, what's happening in that window and there down on the street looking back up at me.
Well, yeah. Well, also because even in the other one, the build up to that moment is what's her name? I can't remember.
Myrtle,
the actress.
Isla Filcher.
No, the other Myrtle.
Oh, I only remember Robert Redford.
Like she walks out and she like goes, Daisy, Daisy, Daisy. That's all I hear about is Daisy.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I'm like remembering being really loud because she's screaming Daisy, screeching Daisy over and over again. So maybe that's what I'm.
Well, it's interesting is like, I mean, kind of thinking like that movie is a lot more grounded in a very just like sense of grounded reality, while this is so much more.
This is a spectacle.
like exaggerated.
Yeah.
It's over the top, which is also like a good reflection of like their lives at the time too, you know? Like those parties, like
the party scene was dope.
Yeah, it's like so cool.
It was really cool.
And it's just like it's a good reflection of like that was the world and the idea that F. Scott Fitzgerald wanted to kind of present and be like, this is what it felt like, you know? It's like this movie kind of it has this aesthetic of how it would feel as, and not just like how it was happening.
Yeah, no, this is someone telling you about a party that they're embellishing.
Yeah.
And then there was a composer and he was making fireworks go off, you know, like yeah.
And I feel like
I want his car.
That yellow car? Mm-hmm. So you can drive it around recklessly?
Yeah, I was like, those scenes when he was like speeding along, I was like, this is an era where this is a giant metal death machine. This thing is...
I think most of those cars couldn't go up faster more than like 40 miles an hour.
They couldn't really go that fast at that time.
Yeah.
Well, because also they were giant metal death machines. They were heavy as fuck.
Yeah. I did really like the recklessness that they introduced with Gatsby and the driving. It's something like there's just a lot of things that Baz Luhrmann was able to capture about who Gatsby was as a character and bring to screen that I never really picked up on, that I remember picking up on.
Well, and there's that whole like dynamic that like he might be embellishing his own life. Not only is everyone around him calling him the spy or murderer or whatever, but he himself does. But then he like gives evidence that what he's saying was true.
Yes.
But you always have this thing in the back of your head where you're like, okay, Forrest Gump, like calm down.
No, it's more like it's his swindle. It's his game. Is the people can deny it, but look at this proof. I have this proof. But it's like he's forcing that narrative so much that it kind of makes you go like, well, I wasn't questioning it that hard. Like,
yeah, like I would have believed you at face value, but now you're embellishing so much that I'm like, now I don't totally believe you.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting.
I mean, it's like
it is crazy to me. It took him like till 45 to get any kind of like Oscar situation.
Oh, dude, like that's actually kind of funny. Is a lot of the times when he's like was ever nominated, he was like just up against somebody else who just had an extraordinary, like Daniel Day-Lewis or something. You know, it's just like
it's just someone just a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just because I was like thinking,
God damn it!
I was just thinking about, you know, when we were looking at his list of movies, I was just like The Departed alone, I think he should have gotten one for. He is a man completely on the verge the entire time, and he's amazing at it. I mean, he's always been that great, like, man with the tortured past.
Yeah,
that's kind of why I got over him for a while, because that's all he was doing.
I guess so.
Like, he shouldn't have done Shutter Island and Inception back to back. That was way too that was way too close of like a character. You know?
Oh, that's Michelle Williams.
In what?
Shutter Island, his wife.
Oh, that is Michelle Williams. That would be a fun rewatch. I haven't watched that in a long time.
That would be a fun rewatch.
That's a bummer of a movie. The ending of that one is like even this one. I love Leonardo DiCaprio movies are bummers. I just realized. Huh.
He likes that tragic ending.
Titanic, Departed, this,
Revenant.
Revenant.
I guess kind of.
I've actually haven't sat through Revenant.
I don't remember
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Aviator.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Man, that guy loves his bummers.
But then, you know, he has like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that movie ends with him on top ish.
Yeah. Yeah, he really likes being that like broken down underdog.
He's good at it. Catch Me If You Can's kind of happy.
Yeah, I guess so. It works out in the end. That was something that I did really like about this too, was knowing Great Gatsby and going in with knowing the knowledge that he does pass away and gets murdered. I was still very interested in
I was like, how are
we gonna shoot this? How are we gonna
as soon as like the Gatsby was like, I haven't used the pool all summer, old sport. Why don't we take a swim, old sport? And I was like, oh, it's coming. And whoa, shit. I was really curious.
Is Daisy the one driving in the book?
Yes,
she is. I couldn't remember if they changed that or
nope,
not.
Not at all. No, actually, I found that scene specifically in the book and reread like how it goes because I was really curious because that was one of the things was that how Leo is just like he's kind of just like Nick, and he's just kind of like just watching at the window and he's like frantic and whatnot, and obviously because he this woman just got killed, but then Nick is like it's almost a Dumbledore Harry Potter. Did you put your name in the? Exactly. Because like the way that it's described in the book is like he like Fitzgerald kind of like alludes to that Gatsby could have been on edge, but Nick is saying everything a lot more calmer. Like Nick isn't like in the movie Tobey Maguire is like, what happened? Was she what happened? You killed that girl. In the book it's kind of more like it's more disbelief that Gatsby's here. It's like, you're here, what happened to that girl, and then Nick's describing, and then without any words, and I said Daisy was driving, and he took a moment and he said yes, but no one should know that. It will be me. It's just like there's something interesting about like while reading it where you always the circumstances always seem a little bit less over extreme, but then when you see it in like on film or on stage, it's like it has to kind of be elevated,
Well, because I think going back full circle, it's because it's a boring concept.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, I guess you could say it's a love tale, that spans decades or whatever, however long.
Well, it's a tragic love story.
Yeah, thank you. A tragic love story, but like that's what I was saying. Like Baz is like the only person I can really see. You need to have this over the top stylized thing, because to keep our lizard brains kind of like engaged in it.
The visual of it, yeah.
Yeah, because without the spectacle, it's just, to me, it's not.
Yeah.
It's the other one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without the spectacle.
It's underwhelming.
So sorry, this is random, but both Leo and Tobey were in episodes of Roseanne, which I just thought was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just wanted to.
It's the irony of the name, The Great Gatsby, and it's just, I don't know. This I'm getting back into the thematic stuff of what Fitzgerald was writing, but it's like Gatsby himself, he's nothing more but a lovesick man who did all of this stuff to try to win back the heart of a woman that has already gone off and married somebody else, Mm-hmm. And even like her confession of like, I can't tell you I didn't ever love him. I did at some point, Yeah. And Gatsby just refusing to believe that, it's like, but she's already deciding to leave to be with you technically and whatnot. But like by the end of it, after all said and done, after what James Gatz has done to become the Great Gatsby, is all just washed away by the mistake of Daisy running over this woman, and then Tom Buchanan with the it's just like this terrible storm all wraps up.
I was gonna say it's a perfect storm.
Yeah, a perfect storm all wraps up with Gatsby then losing his life. The Great Gatsby, the American dream, is nothing but a lie. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be signing off now.
Yeah, I was like, why are you? That's the way it was.
That felt like the end of an essay right there.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way. I like it.
All right, that's enough. You quote Bruce Almighty so much.
Do I really?
Yes. I think you quote that at least once a week.
I think I quote Jim Carrey a lot.
Yes, because I'm having a memory Grinch. Of you doing that a lot.
I quote the Grinch a lot. I know that.
Yeah, and I miss most of it because I don't know that movie as well as you do. But okay, this movie. Do you have any other thoughts before we go into a rating?
There was there was a review that I wanted to read to you because it was kind of what you were saying, but like,
Yeah, please.
But I can't find it though. Because there's too many. There's like I didn't write it down because it didn't really register until you were talking, but there's like 55 reviews that I have to go through and I can't.
It's the greatest story I've ever heard.
You're a dick.
You know that. You know what I'm quoting when I say that, right?
No, what?
Superbad.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the greatest fucking story I've ever heard, Fogel. Why don't you tell it again?
Oh, I don't. You see that? I don't know that movie well enough. Oh, okay. So in that he is being a dick, so you're being a dick.
I really do want you to find that. If he actually will get, I want.
We'll rate, and if I find it, I'll. A 4?
I feel it a 4 too. Like, I was like 3.5, 4. Like I'm okay to give it a 4.
What did we give Marie Antoinette? A 3.5?
No, like a 2.5.
No, we
said a solid 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely better than Marie Antoinette.
Yes.
I mean, like I said last time, I really enjoyed Marie Antoinette, but
yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed with it. But this I really enjoyed. And so like the biggest thing for this movie is it is a wonderful adaptation of a great American novel.
Yes.
And so I can't.
With a great cast.
Yes. And all of the themes and everything that are in this movie or that are from the book, Baz Luhrmann does a really great job taking those and elevating them. But it's already in the elevated text and already in the story. So what he's doing is just making this stylized version of the story, The Great Gatsby, come alive again. And
I think my biggest complaint too is that the racism, the anti-Semitism, taking that out.
I mean, it's still
Tom. It's in there, but you were saying
they toned it down because like we know the time was that.
Yeah.
And also the shit that he says is already fucking horrible enough. Do we really need to keep having it happen?
Well, if you really want to hate Tom.
I mean, you already do hate Tom for like just.
I hate his fucking mustache.
I love that mustache.
Do you really?
I mean, no, it's gross. It's gross, but I was like,
it works.
It works so good for this fucker, and Joel Edgerton pulls it off so well. Oh yeah.
It's also this is a really great looking cast.
Yeah. Also, I never really picked up on this. I don't know. I always just imagined Tom Buchanan as like more of this balding sleazebag.
Yeah, I didn't see him as like this buff athletic.
But no, it was like when they're like he was a polo player and I was like, fuck yeah, he would be kind of like a goddamn like
old money
jock fucking good looking. He's also having an affair on Daisy. It's like he would be actually kind of like this good looking piece of shit
douche.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really tired today.
You're good.
Keep yawning.
Yeah,
but 4.
I'm sold on 4.
4 carrots.
4.
We gotta make up a time to go ahead and explain all that carrot shit again for new listeners.
Just go watch Shoot 'Em Up or listen to our episode. Watch Shoot 'Em Up and listen to our episode Shoot 'Em Up.
Yeah.
Episode.
Insert in. Actually, what was that?
What episode? If you can find it really quick. I think we can be wrapping up.
Okay. So 4. Solid 4.
Are we doing the kids block next week? Or the Fever Dream movies?
Let me look real quick.
I think we are.
Because that's what I bought.
Yeah.
No, we're doing the martial arts.
Oh, yeah.
So next week we're doing one of my favorite movies. Kung Fu Hustle.
We're starting with Kung Fu Hustle?
We're doing Kung Fu Hustle.
Cool.
Which, if you've never seen Kung Fu Hustle, you need to stop what you're doing and watch Kung Fu Hustle.
It's really good.
That movie is really good.
It's a wonderful parody on Westerns through an Eastern lens.
Yeah, it's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, crazy martial arts, flying and stuff, but it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's to this. I mean, I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't know how it stands up, but
it's probably going to be fun.
I think it's going to be great.
I haven't watched it since I was early 20s. Yeah. So it's been over a decade.
I think I own it.
Really?
I think so. But yeah, so we're going to do Kung Fu Hustle, and then so we'll do we're doing a little martial arts.
I feel
what
we're doing after that, but yeah.
We talked about doing Unleashed, but
that's right.
We were kind of
okay
on that.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. So like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and anywhere you get your podcasts. We're pretty much on everything at this point. Spotify, Apple.
You say that every week as if we're not. It's like, and we are.
Yeah, but what if this is a new listener?
No, it's more of like
the way I'm saying it.
Yeah, it's like as if we haven't been putting in the effort to be on these things. It's like we are on these things.
Oh, I'm just saying it weird.
Yeah.
Get off my dick. Anyways, God, join us next week for Kung Fu Festival.
It's the greatest fucking storyboard.
This is Tommy.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
I will end you.